Hi there, I'm C, and it's good to see you again. Let's talk about Pokemon today. Do you like Pokemon? I like Pokemon. It's totally not a controversial subject at the moment. Masters released recently and that was kind of fun. But what Pokemon game are we going to talk about? If I really wanted to stay true to my mantra of talking about games no one cares about, the often overlooked and neglected, I certainly can't talk about the main series. You might be thinking I'm just gonna ditch my motto and just talk about something popular. Although probably not, considering you can see the title of the video. But no! Even in a series as popular as Pokemon, I can find something kind of obscurish, but not exactly old, to talk about. Today, we're taking a look at PokePark Wii. PokePark Wii Pikachu's Adventure is an action-adventure game, I don't know genres, developed by Creatures Inc. and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Releasing on the Wii in 2009 for Japan and 2010 for the rest of the world, the game is, in my opinion, very much aimed towards younger audiences. Which you may find surprising considering the target audience of the main Pokemon series is already fairly young as it is. But this is definitely a kid's game, as far as I can tell. Even this one gaming show I used to watch said so, I think. But did that stop me? Of course it didn't. I'm the kind of person that enjoys Chocobo Tales. I may not be in the target age range, but I am definitely the target audience for this game. So I got it, I played it, and its sequel that we won't be talking about today, and hopefully I'll be able to show you why you should give it a go too. Let's start with the story. One day, Pikachu was playing around in some town with his friends Charmander, Chikorita, and Piplup, when suddenly, Mew! Mew guides the friends to a hole and they head through to PokePark, an entire nation of Pokemon that is for some reason split up and named as if it's a theme park, instead of, you know, being somewhere where people live. Mew explains to Pikachu that PokePark is protected by the Sky Prism, but the Sky Prism is powered by friendship, and because of a lack of friendship, the rainbow has disappeared from the sky, and the Sky Prism has broken into pieces and scattered across PokePark. If that's not bad enough, if the Sky Prism isn't put back together, the Sky Pavilion, which sits in the sky above PokePark, is gonna fall to the ground and kill everyone. For whatever reason, Mew has decided that Pikachu, a Pokemon that didn't even originally live in PokePark, is the one who has to gather the pieces and put it all back together. Upon arriving in PokePark and clearing the tutorial area, Pikachu finds himself in the Meadow Zone, where he meets up with Chikorita and discovers that, true to the theme park-like name, this place has attractions to play, and apparently each of the attraction keepers just so happen to find a piece of the Sky Prism, which they'll relinquish if you clear their attraction. Unfortunately, attractions have been banned in the Meadow Zone by decree of the Zone Keeper, and it's here where we learn why the Sky Prism broke in the first place. The Zone Keepers of the various zones had a bit of a falling out over their differing moral standards, and because of that they've closed the gates between the different zones of PokePark. Thus, Pikachu's goal is now clear. Not only does he have to collect the pieces of the Sky Prism, but he also needs to mend the relationship between the Zone Keepers, and make PokePark whole once more. So yeah, friendship. If you'd like to see the ins and outs of the relationships between the Zone Keepers, play the game yourself, because we're moving on. It's time for the gameplay. Unlike a lot of Wii games that have you hold the Wii Remote like a sword and waggle it about, PokePark has you holding the Wii Remote like the handlebars of a bike, and occasionally waggle it about. Overworld exploration has you running Pikachu around the various zones, occasionally doing some platforming through jumping or dashing. You can also use moves like Thunderbolt and eventually Iron Tail. Exploring the area lets you find things like berries, the currency of the game, special items that some Pokemon might want, but most importantly, the main attraction that isn't the attractions, other Pokemon. You see, you're not just here to collect prism pieces, you're here to make friends and reunite PokePark. So how do you do that? Well, when you talk to a Pokemon, they might want to play a skill game, of which there are 5. Chase! Chase the Pokemon around the area and ram your head into their butt to win. Battle! A real-time battle where you use your moves to deplete their health bar before they deplete yours. Hide and seek! The Pokemon will hide somewhere around the area. Go find them before the time's up. Quiz! It's a quiz. Add Obstacle Hop, the rarest of the 5. Jump through an obstacle course and reach the Pokemon at the end. Win, and you become friends. Some Pokemon might also have different requirements instead of a skill game, like finding them an item in the overworld, or getting a certain score on a certain attraction. Sometimes making friends is required to progress, but it's mostly done on your own time, with some benefits like inviting new Pokemon to the park, or something I'm about to get into. Of course, I can't just mention the attractions without explaining what's going on with them. Attractions are essentially mini-games that you play in order to get a Sky Prism piece, or otherwise move the story forward. They vary in terms of controls and goals, so I can't just give a blanket statement for all of them. For example, in the Meadow Zone, you have a racing minigame, where you just waggle the Wii remote as fast as you can to reach the finish line, as well as a swinging minigame, where you swing the Wii remote to build up momentum and try to launch yourself as far as possible. Here's the best part though. You thought you were stuck playing as Pikachu for the entire game? You thought wrong. Each attraction has a list of different Pokemon that can participate, and if you've befriended that Pokemon, you can play as them in the attraction. This is even necessary sometimes, as there are some attractions that Pikachu can't participate in. Unless you enter some secret codes. Different Pokemon will be better at different events, and the score required to achieve a bonus will differ depending on how good the Pokemon is. So if you're struggling to reach the required score of a certain attraction to get the Prism piece, you can always just run off and make some new friends, and maybe they can beat the attraction for you. Now, having gone through the story and gameplay, it's time to start going through some of the things I particularly like or dislike about the game. But just so you know, it has been quite some time since I last properly played through PokePark, so my thoughts will probably end up a bit more scatterbrained than usual. Anyway, something that particularly sticks out to me off the top of my head, I find the setting of PokePark to be kinda interesting. Like, the Pokemon series has explored all sorts of different worlds, from trainers to rangers to warlords, and even other worlds with only Pokemon, like in Mystery Dungeon. But PokePark is different. Not only is this a world with only Pokemon, it's a world of peace. It's a world where conflict doesn't come about through an evil team wreaking havoc or wild Pokemon going wild. It comes through conflicting ideals and arguing about the best way to do one's job. It isn't solved by defeating some ancient evil, it's solved by bringing people together and expanding their worldview. I'm probably playing this up and exaggerating this a little because I don't perfectly remember everything, but I still like the idea behind it. It's deeper than you'd probably expect from Pokemon Babby game about the power of friendship, and I like that. The challenge is also probably more than you'd expect from Babby game. Now admittedly, I'm not exactly a master gamer or anything, but there were some skill games I found to be a bit challenging. And if I'm finding it challenging, then kids would probably find it the same degree of challenging. It's not unfairly so though. It's always just a matter of trying to find the right way around something, or training Pikachu's stats in the hub area. Overall, it's just a real nice kids game, and not the kind of shovelware you might expect to be aimed at set audiences because, well, kids will play anything. It's the kind of game I'd give to my kids. If I had kids. They'll probably never have kids, so what I'm saying is the kind of game I'd play, that's it. That said, if there's any real negative I can think of, it's probably that there's very little reason to go beyond the minimum requirements. I guess that could be said about, like, most collectathon type games, but this is one of the few games I've managed to get 100% completion on. And, it's not really worth it beyond personal satisfaction. You know how Super Mario Sunshine's 100% reward was like a picture? Yeah, imagine that, but worse. Instead of 1 rainbow, you get 3. And I'm pretty sure that's just for befriending every Pokemon, not for getting the bonus on every attraction with every Pokemon, which I'm pretty sure I also did. I'm pretty sure there's not any reward for that. If there is, it's probably a note on the Wii's message board thing. So it's really up to you whether it's worth it. Is the satisfaction of getting everything done enough of a reward for you? If not, then maybe just become friends with the folks you need to get stuff done, and any Pokemon you just happen to like. This is the part where I'm supposed to give my recommendation, and considering I mentioned liking this game all the way back in my Chocobo Tales video, I think it comes as no surprise that I recommend you give this game a try if you are a child or are the kind of adult that would enjoy Chocobo Tales. Even with my glowing review of the story and setting, I don't think it's so compelling that adult gamers with adult tastes would be super into it like I was when I first played it. That said, I do still think it's a solid game that a good amount of people would be able to get some enjoyment out of. It's even on the Wii U eShop if you don't want to go hunting for a physical copy. I will say though, I probably recommend the sequel 100 times more. I'm not going to do a video about it just yet, because I never actually finished the post-game stuff, but I think it's bigger and better than the original in pretty much every way. Especially the story, though for rather different reasons than the original. There's also very little carried over between the two games, so you could probably jump into 2 without having played 1 first if you really wanted. Just, you know, something to keep in mind if your backlog's far shorter than mine is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya when I see ya.